If you follow UK politics, you have almost certainly heard the name Kemi Badenoch. And if you have not, don't worry, Westminster moves so fast these days that sometimes it feels as though politicians themselves need to check the headlines to find out what's happening. But Kemi Badenoch is different. Some people see her as the future of the Conservative Party. Others see her as one of the most controversial figures in modern British politics. And some simply say this: when Kemi Badenoch speaks, the headlines practically write themselves. So who exactly is Kemi Badenoch? And why has her name risen so quickly in British politics? Let's find out. Kemi Badenoch's story does not begin in a political dynasty. Her father was not a prime minister. Her family did not spend weekends hosting political gatherings. Her father was a doctor and her mother was a professor. Born in London to Nigerian parents, Kemi spent parts of her childhood both in the United Kingdom and in Nigeria. She has often spoken about how her experiences growing up helped shape her views on life, opportunity, and personal responsibility. At the time, politics was a distant world. Few people could have imagined that this young girl would one day become one of the most recognizable figures in British politics. After school, she studied computer system engineering. Now think about that for a moment. Today, people see her debating national issues on television. But before politics, she was working with computer systems and software. No election campaigns, no parliamentary debates, no political interviews, just technology, problem solving, and office file. It's not exactly the traditional route into Westminster. After university, she worked in the private sector, building experience in technology, banking, and financial services. And that's an important part of her story. Because when she talks about business, economic growth, and jobs, her supporters often point out that she spent years working outside politics before entering parliament. Her journey into politics was not an overnight success either. There was no dramatic breakthrough, no instant rise to the top. She joined the Conservative Party, stood for election, and lost. Yes, lost. It's a useful reminder that many political careers begin with setbacks rather than victories. But she kept going. Gradually, she built a reputation within the party. Then came the London Assembly, then Parliament, and that's when things started to get interesting. Because Kemi Badenoch was not just another Conservative politician. She chose to speak about issues that many politicians prefer to approach very carefully. Free speech, identity politics, gender debates, immigration. And every time she spoke about these issues, strong reactions followed. Her supporters said, finally someone willing to say what they really think. Her critics said, there's a difference between being honest and being divisive. And that debate helped push Kemi Badenoch into the national spotlight. Today, if you look at political discussion across social media, you will find people who strongly support her and people who strongly oppose her. But very few people ignore her. And in politics, that can be a powerful position to be in. People may agree with you, people may disagree with you, but if they are paying attention, you are shaping the conversation. Immigration is another area where Badenoch has attracted significant attention. She has argued that immigration should be properly controlled and the Britain's immigration system should prioritize the country's long-term interest. Supporters believe this is simply common sense. Critics argue that the issue is far more complex than it appears. And that's the reality of modern British politics. One issue, two completely different interpretations. And both sides believe they are right. When it comes to the economy, Badenoch presents herself as a politician who understands business and enterprise. She frequently speaks about economic growth, investment, and creating opportunities for business to succeed. But the challenge facing every politician remains the same. British voters are thinking about housing, the cost of living, energy bills, NHS waiting list, and economic security. Any politician hoping to reach number 10 Downing Street must convince voters they have answers to these concerns. Which brings us to the biggest question of all. Could Kemi Badenoch one day become Prime Minister? This is where opinions become sharply divided. Her supporters argue that she has confidence, leadership qualities, and the communication skills needed to lead the country. Her critics argue that winning over supporters is one thing, winning over the wider electorate is something else entirely, and perhaps that will be the biggest test of her political career. Can she help rebuild the Conservative Party? Can she reconnect with voters? Can she turn strong opinions into the electoral success? At the moment, nobody knows the answer. Politics has a habit of surprising everyone. Today's opposition can become tomorrow's government, and today's government can quickly find itself sitting on the opposition benches. So, will Kemi Badenoch lead a Conservative comeback, or will she become another fascinating chapter in Westminster's long political history? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, whenever people discuss the future of British politics, Kemi Badenoch namely is likely to be part of that conversation. And that's why millions of people across the United Kingdom continue to watch her, continue to listen her, and continue to ask the same question. Could Kemi Badenoch become Britain's next Prime Minister?